Explode the sunlight here, gentlemen. You explode the universe.
Every time I touch Mac. Every time I touch Mac. Explode the sunlight here, gentlemen. You explode the universe.
Your lips are stained with fiction. You always have your reasons, and I spoil you rotten. Your hands are sealed in pockets. You fill them with your secrets. To you, I am nothing. I am. Your kiss, sweet like poison. You know you make me reckless. I'll run, but you are friction. Your touch feels like heaven. You make me hate all my sins. You are my religion. My religion. I have a million reasons to leave you, but I have a billion reasons to keep you. I have a million reasons to leave you, but I have a billion reasons to keep you.
Welcome everybody to the Aegis Esports, and We've got a team league coming up, but first, besides that, we've got something special today, and that is a Swiss tournament sponsored by Community Gaming. It's been a bit of a grueling day, quite long, 6 rounds, and we've up to our top eight, and this top eight is pretty stacked. Got a lot of interesting and competitive people here, and I think best to go through that list is my co-caster Monty. Hey Monty, and hope you're doing well. Sorry I didn't really give you a proper introduction, but this will do. And how about going through that top cut?
What's up, everyone? We do indeed have a star-studded top cut for you guys today, and for one, am really looking forward to getting to break down all the action. Starting from the bottom of our bracket, we have Sharky versus AJ. Our next match of the day is going to be Galley versus Broken Ball, Black Ishiroshi versus Mr. Emotional, and finally, our first match streamed for our top cut today will be Salty Simon versus Rito Ruined My Life. And it's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be
Right,
a good one.
this is honestly really stacked. I didn't actually look at it, but if you don't know Rito Ruined My Life, this is actually an alt account. It is G's Never Walks Alone. This is, I'm pretty sure, a Polish player. They've done multiple top cuts in a seasonal. They've also hit grassroots before, and they are, I don't think they get much recognition because I think Europe is such a big scene and it's really hard to kind of juggle it with the American scene. But this person, I'm glad that they go 6-0, and then we've got Salty Simon as the first battle. But looking at all of this is such a stacked list. We've also got Black Ichiros that I kind of want to talk about. Pretty sure an APAC player, and they've kind of been going back to back in grassroots at the moment and doing really, really well. And I definitely can't wait to watch them as well.
Yeah, a lot of cool decks coming out from a lot of different players today. We've got some interesting things like Misfortune Swain isn't something I expected to see, and Caitlyn Jace is kind of the newest edition of Jace Shadow Isles, and it's come out from both Salty Simon and I think Broken Ball had it in his lineup as well. He did. I've been playing some of that on ladder after seeing it in the tournament spreadsheet this morning, and it's a pretty sweet deck. I can't wait. I hope we get to see it up on screen today. I hope it's not banned out by Rito Ruined My Life because I would love to see how Salty Simon pilots it and what it can accomplish.
For sure, and we're in such a weird state right now because rotation just happened. If you don't know and you're a bit behind on, how Runeterra is doing, we've had a big patch and there's majority of cards got rotated out and it's changed up the meta a lot. There's a lot of, high power things that are kind of shining through because there's a weird imbalance of, cards in the pool. So stuff like Fizz Samira are kind of dominating at the moment. And you've also got a different amount of like play patterns kind of popping up. You don't have that much pings. There's weird states of removal that have kind of gotten in a way of weird Caitlyn decks that are very, very different. And we'll definitely see it in the upcoming games of how drastically, you know, uh, it's weird. It's like drastically different that Runeterra is, and it's pretty refreshing, but it's going to take a while to get used to. I feel like.
Yeah, definitely. I still don't even know exactly what was rotated. I catch myself playing around things that don't exist in the game anymore, and I'm sure that our competitors from today have put in a little bit more time than I have at this point and have figured out their rotation list because they have managed to come up with these lists and make it all the way to the top 8 of the very first tournament of Glory in Navori. So hopefully we'll be able to get into this first round very, very shortly for you all. We don't exactly have deck lists pop up on screen to go through, but we did talk a little bit about the lists. The other couple lists that come out from the side of Simon here are Karma Set and Fizz Samira. I'm sure everyone's well aware of what Fizz Samira is and does at this point. Karma Set, though, it's a little bit of a different one. It's really, from what I've seen, looking to abuse Karma with coins and just kind of has this infinite mana turn 10 play. It's kind of wild sometimes, but not very good in my experience. What are your thoughts on this list, Eddie?
Yeah. So I feel like a lot of people are kind of high on it, but it's not like an over exaggerated like high. Like, yeah, I'm really excited for this thing. They're kind of coping for a point of just finding something, right? Because we're in a
Mm,
really weird state of like what can beat Samira and what is a good control deck. Because PNZ, it's so awkward as a region right now that it still finds success, but you don't have stuff like Thermo Beam, which is just a versatile card that can really minimize the amount of cards you need to put in your deck. You have to kind of put the Hex Obliterator, the Caustic Rip, all of these cards kind of add up and make your deck very removal focused without having much of a package. And Karma kind of is put into a slot where, hey, I can actually now play this card, which will give me value, and I don't need to tax as much as a win con and kind of work off that, and then use that removal more of a way to kind of survive and win the game. But now we are into this game here, and it is Samira versus Sierra, Jack, I'm pretty sure, or Caitlyn, but this is a very interesting deck. And Monty, what are your thoughts on this matchup and the deck from Rita Ruin My Life?
You know, I'm a big fan of these Seraphine Bilgewater lists. I always have been. I think they've always been very, very interesting. They have gotten this new edition of the Augmented Clockling, which is a great card for this style of deck. But I'm not sure that this deck actually beats Samira Fizz when it's in the hands of a competent player. Yes, you have Caustic Rift, but Samira Fizz has HP buffs, and Fizz just hits level 2, and then Caustic Rift doesn't really matter. Rallies can also be very, very, very impactful against this style of deck because usually it comes to the point where it needs to dump a lot of its mana in a single turn to reach that stabilization. And then once it's hit that stabilization point, it's soft. But this Samira Fizz deck can kind of half output its damage, say, ha ha ha, deal with this, and then slam a whole bunch of zero cost spells, 0 and 1 cost spells, Burblefish, what have you, and suddenly it's rallying, and then you need more mana to deal with a full board all of a sudden. You just can't do that. So I have a feeling this matchup is going to be slightly Samira Fizz favored, especially since I see Simon is running that Powder Pandemonium as kind of his top end burn finisher. And I imagine that's going to be very good in this style of matchup because, well, a lot of what Rito Ruined My Life wants to do is AoE clear the board, and if he does that against a Powder Pandemonium, he's just going to take 6 damage to the face.
Yeah. Okay, so it definitely kind of comes down to Caustic Rift. Caustic Rift is definitely the card that you want in this matchup, but like you were saying, it can't really survive on its own. It's just, stabilizing. You do need that mischievous Mirai, and that's what, G's Never Walk Alone picked up here, also known as Rita Ruined My Life, and this kind of changed the game state entirely. But saying that as well, you did also say Pound and Pandemonium as a tech card. It flips this matchup a bit and gets you back onto the board, and we're gonna just see now Rita Ruin My Life just play Sarah and try and put some board on so we don't get overly pressured next turn.
Annie, I bring up this Powder Pandemonium, but I'm thinking about it, and I'm realizing Simon hasn't plundered even once so far. This is
True,
kind of a dead card right now. It's really not doing anything for him at all.
That's when you need Inferno, right? Inferno is kind of what goes well with it, and you are just kind of stacking up with all your threats or like value generation. But it just doesn't. Yeah, maybe like this is looking very close though. Like if we look at the board, we have the Fizz online. The Fizz is like what we want. I guess like this Caustic Rift, it still gets through onto that Fizz though.
Yeah.
Plus you have two, so like that's the problem with Samira Fizz as well, though. Sometimes you just don't really get that explosiveness you need, and that's why decks like this can kind of exploit Fizz Samira. Even if you are competent, two Caustic Rifts kind of become quite the trouble for Salty Simon. We really need to figure out what we can draw here, and what can we draw here, Monty? It's not even an Inferno. We want something that can kind of chain quite well.
I'm thinking about it, and I have no idea. I don't think there's actually anything that we can draw that would be like super beneficial here. Maybe Father Fury, so that way we can Father Fury that generates an all out, so that way we can get a couple plunder procs, and then we're actually dealing enough damage with this Powder Pandemonium that our stylish shots and everything else is lethal.
Yeah, it would have to be trying to get through burn, right? Like we have good health totals, but we're playing it safe, understanding that the Sailor shot might not make it through, and G's never walking alone. Literally just playing it slow here, putting up the make it rain, making them use these burst spells, and gonna be loading up with a caustic grip after. I'm like, okay, so this goes alone. We need to just piece 5 damage, which it's a possibility, right, with that Inferno, but at the same time, then you just have a Hexpliterator up, but I guess you can't actually like you have to tap under so Inferno might get value.
I really like the way Ruin My Life has played this. Never Walk Alone has been so patient, so slow, methodical. He's been able to pick apart the one thing that could potentially seal his fate, that Fizz, not letting it stick to this board, being able to layer the kegs in the way that he has with this mischievous Barai. It's been so integral to his success in this game.
But yeah, now Salty Simon has some spot to actually play Inferno here. However, Rito Ruin My Life does have an attack token. You need to get like a plunder into, all out, but that isn't a possibility when you have the priority. Uh, like, Rito might be a bit conservative, but if I was here and I have Caster Vision, I would put out the Hex Splitter, and that's definitely what they're agreeing on.
Yeah, it's how do you lose, right? You let this Inferno pop off and draw them into their win conditions. So taking it off the board before they can activate Plunder seems to be the best way to ensure your victory. I really like that heads up Hexpliterator from GZ Never Walk Alone, and now we're gonna get to see a full swing here for it's only 6 damage, but this Ebb is gonna be able to deal a ton more on top of healing alongside that Marai.
Yeah, it's like I don't want to say it's doomed because I have to kind of be respectful. Like this is looking really good for Rito Ruin My Life. I'm thinking, what is the best way? And it's finding damage. Swindle. I guess they can get it. Hellstones maybe, and then you can actually draw. That might give you an out here. Does he get it? Just gets
I
aired,
think Ebb.
unfortunately.
Yeah, that Telstones would have been so nice. It would have let you either kill the Seraphine on the spot, or at least attempt to, uh, or draw into some of the rest of your deck. And that draw, 3 cards being discounted off of the top of this deck, it's very, very valuable.
Right. And yeah, Rito probably just being able to play Progress Day here. You might want to just hold it back though, because see if they have anything really that could potentially win the game. But we'll see what they do. I'm not too hesitant. Aftershock, interesting. Just to flip it, I assume.
Yeah, they're just trying to flip the Seraphine so that way they can get more healing off of this Ebb. This is going to
That's
seal the
8
game for
damage.
sure.
That's 8 damage, and then we probably have the parlay for lethal. Simon says, "Hey, I want to get out of here," and this gets to game 2. Pretty well played from Rito Ruin My Life, and that's why we're seeing this Jack Sarah deck being played.
Yeah, it's a pretty sweet deck. We talked a little bit about it earlier at the start of the game. It's very much your traditional Seraphine Bilgewater bar deck. It kind of does things like removing all your units until Seraphine pops off and does Seraphine things. So very well piloted by GZ Never Walk Alone there, and now we'll see if he can play Darkness to the same level of success against this Fizz Samira deck.
Okay. Well, actually, just like seeing these 2 decks, it's obvious what his lineup is, right? It's just anti Samira, and I can feel like Salty's like, "Oh, why, man? Why am I getting tuned with anti Samira?" Like, I feel like, I feel like this deck, even by a competent player, there are weaknesses, right? And it kind of comes to threat density, and then Darkness kind of falls into a similar pattern of how it was against Zoe Nami. If you don't remember the Zoe Nami matchup, it kind of just came down to killing their threats, and you don't really have Zoe in this deck to kind of go early pressure, so it's a bit harder.
You have Seraphine, or not Seraphine, Samira though. That's early pressure.
I guess that's true. Yeah, that is a good point. I guess it kind of gets also. I don't know, like with the addition of like hate spikes and stuff, it feels like it does just die a lot more though.
Hmm. That's true for sure. I don't know. I think this matchup comes down pretty heavily to Fizz and whether or not they're playing mini morphs, right? It's kind of always the way I've found that darkness matchups go against like any sort of buff Bilgewater deck.
I think I I'm not sure. Like, I really think it kind of comes down to like just how much removal you have into hand to their threats. But even then, you're kind of just behind because Vega can kind of snowball. So like, you really want a hand that can just early pressure and make them always be on the back foot because that is kind of Darkness's weakness.
Mhm. So looking at this hand from Salty Simon, what are you trying to do here? Just continuing to set up this Father Fury so that way you can have a massive turn with the Fleet Admiral Shelley next turn? Are we just trying to get Fleet Admiral Shelley down now and say, okay, we're going to lose it to the darkness, but we're going to get a good enough turn anyways?
You can't really do that. Like, you have the all outs, so I would probably I might even just jam Fury here. Like, it might be a bit weird to do, but jamming Fury, making it try and be a bit slow. But this is really awkward because you can't really go for Shelly. It feels bad because you have nothing to do.
Yeah, like
Like, okay, we all out, that's fine. And then what? We I guess hate spike, and then you have to double all out. But you're only buffing up your free two here, and
mhm,
then like what? You're pushing 4 damage. That might be enough for burn, but then we just have Ixtali, and there's no way to deal with that Ixtali.
you are absolutely correct, Annie. This time, the Powder Pandemonium is activated, so that is kind of some almost way to deal with Ixtali. We can pull it to the side. Um, but it's still not going to do a whole lot for us when they have a board because they're playing Portal Palooza and they hit their portals on the top two cards.
Yeah, it's like it just doesn't look good. I also really like the Portal Palooza, by the way. I'm not. Is this Nora or is this actually just straight up Darkness with Portal Palooza?
All three. It is all the champions.
Oh, true.
Yeah, I don't know what the split is. I haven't actually clicked on the list to open it up, but they are playing all three champions.
Right, and here it is. The all out for the second one does come out here, but I guess you have that Fury to be played now, which is quite nice. But you don't have a Plunder trigger. You really need a top deck. Do we get anything? But no. Inferno here also being a bit loose, but Power of Pandemonium has to come out just because it's kind of your best play right now.
This is going to fill the board for the side of Simon, but it's not going to do a whole lot else. These aren't buffed up by a Jagged Taskmaster or anything like that, like Monkeys traditionally
We
does.
we do
So,
have the Shelly though, so that does get +1/+1.
yeah,
Are we actually pushing lethal here? Okay, let's think about it. We have a full board. They're all 3/2s and they're dealing extra damage. We have a 4/3 going through. We pull everything through with 3 units. We have what 3 units going ourselves plus the 3 damage. That's like 6. That's 10 plus another 3 there that is lethal. But Ixtali or even this 5 drop stun right now is a Vega chance spell, looking like it might stun it, but this burst speed spell will stop some of the stuns right now.
opted for the Bilgewater Telstones instead of the Swindle.
I think Swindle's just going to be more impactful, right? Like, you might get a conch, you might get something else that might be a bit more what you want to see. And here we go, we push the damage. This is 13. Doesn't matter. Salty Simon plays that almost as perfectly as you can, and well played. We get into a game 3 here. Darkness, even being the favorite, sadly couldn't pick up the win.
Yeah, really well done by Salty Simon there to use his tech card of that Powder Pandemonium to great success. Adapted a little bit from the first game in that series where he found the tech card for these matchups. He's put it in there for this reason. He was expecting to be countered, and he said, "Well, the counter matchups can't deal with monkeys." but then didn't find enough plunder cards in game one to actually make use of it. So game two put a little bit more focus in his mulligan on looking for those plunder cards and was able to spin it around and take down Darkness. And very, very well played. Now we'll see if he can do it again with this Caitlyn Jace deck. I think it's the Caitlyn Jace deck. Yes, it is.
All right, Monty, this is a matchup I haven't seen, but I feel like it's Darkness favored, right? Because, like,
You think so?
this, yeah, I feel like because rotation has kind of dwindled down so many win cons that aren't champions that you have to really heavily focus onto those champions, right? And what's the perfect
Yeah.
answer with a cheap Darkness?
But Darkness is also so heavily focused on its champions, and this deck has answers for all those champions as well.
Yeah,
Whereas
that is true.
Albus Pharos exists.
Alright, it might come down to free density. I'm not actually sure. What was it traditionally against Heimer Jace? Was it Jace favored?
No idea.
Yeah.
You think I play these style of decks? Come on, Annie.
What a great bunch of casters knowing these matchup tables.
I know, right?
I feel like if you're not running Production Surge and the Hex that I'm blanking here, help me. The free drop they got nerfed.
Hex
Alright,
deck banned down.
yeah, do
That's
I
not
play
right.
the game? Question mark? Handler. The handler, there we go.
Hamburger helper.
Yeah.
That's it.
But yeah, without that, you lose a lot of pressure. And like I was saying last round, really, the pressure is aimed to kind of be against Darkness. It puts you really behind. So, and especially if this, deck is loaded up with constant, revives, it won't really be nice for Simon, and you might be pretty behind. Because I feel like that is, a common thing at the moment. A lot of people are playing Mystical just because control is in the meta.
Hunting Kitten generated off the portals always feels good, man. Simon has
That's
Mystic Shot for the Twisted Catalyzer, though, meaning that this Darkness is going to be stuck at 2 for a little bit longer. Vagar can't
isn't
come down freely because we do see that 2-mana spell available, the new one. I don't know the name of it, but they
this is
moved
the
Cullen
first.
Drake from the region.
Yeah, and the refrain getting so much value here, picking up Nora, being pushed with 3 damage plus the 6 as well. Yeah, that's why slow speeds can be so taxing. We've got a, kind of an outplay. Corsagrif doesn't even do anything, and this will be 9 damage. There isn't actually anything Simon can do. He's behind here, and he has to go into next turn. Maybe even Vengeancing or maybe Piercing Darkness just to get back into this game. This is getting really awkward. That Kitten being almost as tilting as Simon probably didn't want to see, and it was definitely impactful here.
Yeah, that heroic refrain was really, really good in that instance. That's a lot of damage being output by Darkness. It's without having to even make a single Darkness or send it face at all. Like, these Nora portals have come up huge yet again.
Wow, and just giving this pass up, letting Raito ruin my life, a potential to deal another 4 or maybe even make them vengeance is not good. If they have to be forced to do something like that just to slow down the pressure, it gets you ahead here. And here comes a handler that was struggling with a name and looking really risky for Simon now.
Heaven is not what you want to be seeing aimed at your face, not like this. Simon just gonna get beat down by the Nora portals without Darkness even having to hit the board. Vagar, who needs him?
Right. But
Oh, can't hate Spike to deny the healing, but can
we do
Glimpse.
have Glimpse though. Glimpse is nice, and yeah, I like not opting for a Vega here, just, because I kind of want to, stop them from healing as much as possible. You've done it enough already, and these portals are going to be nice. Hey, what's scarier when you can put 2 level champs into your deck as well?
Yeah, now we just gotta find some predicts to get them, right? Totally
Oh, yeah,
possible.
yeah. Yeah, yeah. Hey, it can happen.
Is there actually a way for it to happen?
Um,
I don't think so. I don't think with the current card pool there is. I think if we still had Telescope, there was a way, because you could go Contralogist into Face Route, into Telescope, into Augmented clockling or whatever it's called.
I,
But we
it would,
lost.
yeah. I'm thinking about any trinket trade stuff, but I don't think there would be a possibility. You'd have to like trinket trade into like a random spell and maybe like treasure trash, but that seems kind of pretty tough to do. And do we just burn a card here?
We did. Our portal made us a spell, so we burned a vengeance. Now
Classic.
Jace gonna come down.
Okay, so Salty, you have a few things here. The 6 damage spell to kind of remove stuff might be okay, but the Vengeance does come down. You have to really deal with this board here. I don't think you really want to take any amount of damage. I'm assuming they're probably running Pythos, so 1 damage could be a thing, and they have to tap under this four mana here with the Soul Harvest, and that gives you the turn to either play Nora or Vega. But I feel like in this position, we might just want to be going for as much damage as possible.
Yeah. I would probably just play Nora plus the Conchologist, go too wide.
Yeah,
Or
we
I don't
really
know.
want
That
to
would be very
refrain.
good.
I was gonna say we want to refrain. We just get Talstones. Okay.
Yep. Yeah, this is sealed up for sure. Simon
No,
drew
there's
a
a chance.
little bit dead.
I think there is a chance, and it's double caustic, right? But that isn't it, and this will be lethal for Rito Ruin My Life. Playing it while understanding the manifests here, this refrain will come up, will be played, and it will seal the deal. Getting the 6-0 player getting into the next round against maybe towards Simon a salty game for sure.
And it's simply just not enough mana available for Simon here in this instance. He can't do anything about this. And yeah, there's the classic FF.
I mean, like it
It's
was
over.
it was played really well by G's Never Walked Alone. Kind
It
of
was.
using both names here because I feel like we should focus on that name, but at the same time, like on the screen it says Raito, the Raito name. But yeah, really well played. Understood that you had to pressure early and make some room to kind of capitalize on them. Using really awkward removal to just keep swarming, and that's what he did.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely very, very well played. So just a quick update from the other side of the bracket for you guys. Broken Ball took down Galley to advance to our semifinals, and AJ took down Sharky. So we're just waiting on, and sorry, Mr. Emotional, our good friend, took down Black Ishiros. I hope I'm pronouncing that at least close to right. So we do have our semifinals coming up. It's going to be Broken Ball versus AJ and Mo versus GZ Never Walk Alone. Really, really hyped semifinals for the first tournament of Glory and Navori. Who do you have a favorite for these matchups? Any?
Um, I well, okay, I'm a bit biased because I do kind of want G's Never Walk Alone to kind of take it just because seeing that play was really nice, but I also want to see Mr. Emotional maybe make a run. When's the last time you've ever seen Mr. Emotional kind of top cut that wasn't like a previous seasonals like last 2 seasonals ago, right? When's the last time he's kind of done well in a tournament like this?
It's been a minute since Mo's had a run, so I would definitely love to see my boy take it down, show up and perform super well. I know he's been gunning for it. I know he's been excited to play again. I know he's been playing a lot. So he wasn't quite so fortunate in the Glory and Navori creator brawl that they had the other day. So maybe he can pick it up and win here instead.
I I feel like so the funny thing with Mo is I feel like he's always just short, right? Like last time we had the Swiss tournament as well, he was just short. It's almost like he's the Watamai of like top cuts. Watamai is like always gets top cuts, but he never makes the finals. But instead, he's just like can't make the top cuts. But I'm glad he finally made it. Which also he didn't make it initially as well. If you didn't know, we actually had a drop. So Mo really squeezing in here, but who knows? Maybe it is time for him to win another tournament.
I sure hope so. But with that, I think we are going to run to a little bit of a very quick break before we come back to follow Mo and GZ Never Walk Alone into their semifinal match. We'll catch you guys all in a second. Stick with us.
Welcome everybody back to Aegis Esports, and what a match that was! If you didn't see, G's Never Walk Alone took it against Simon, and we are into the top four. But first, before we get into that, I kind of want to go through a few things. If you didn't know, this tournament is sponsored by Community Gaming. Community Gaming is a weekly tournament for Valorant, Super Smash Bros, Legends of Runeterra, and a lot more, other games. And they kind of do just help so many communities giving prize pools to, you know, help with events like this. And it is a all-in-one platform. It helps supercharge these events, like I just said, and yeah, it just really does help the community grassroots to turn into tier one professional events. So experience it yourself at communitygaming.io or join the Discord to learn more.
Yeah, and also when you join the Discord, remember to sign up for Aegis's next season. Glory and Navori Brawl is starting in April, which it now is. Today's April Fool's, so don't forget about that either. Don't if your girlfriend tells you she's pregnant, remember it's April Fool's Day. She's lying.
Hey,
She's
don't- why? Why do
lying.
we say anything like that? We could have been like, hey, we were trying to make them flip our cams or something, but they just refused on April Fools. There's no jukes coming out of here. But yeah, hey, even that, maybe be a bit cautious. Who knows? In life in general, especially if it wasn't prepared.
But we are gonna get right into the next game very, very shortly. And it's gonna be Mr. Emotional with his lineup of Fizz Samira, Ilaoi Jack. That's basically Pink Ilaoi from previous seasons, featuring the new champion Jack. And Gwen Quinn Vane, which is Green Scouts. Believe it or not, Green Scouts is really fucking good. Not something I thought I would say, but I finally get to play Green Fang Warden. I'm so happy. I love that card.
Yeah, it's like it kind of comes down to what rotation has made, certain archetypes be and what ones flourish. And I feel like very high power spiking decks have the opportunity to shine. Like I even think Riven right now is really good because you can just now power spike. Even like running Flurry of the Fisk has so much value at the moment. It can really cheese out, and this is why we see stuff like Glenn, Glenn, find the light of day. And like you said, Monty, a lot of people are happy to play this deck, and I'm definitely excited to see it be played in the tournament today.
Hmm. And then we already saw GZ Never Walk Alone in our first round of today, but as a gentle reminder to all of our lovely viewers, his lineup is Karma Set, Jack Seraphine, and Nora Senna Vagar. I'm really excited to see this Nora Senna Vagar deck again as well. I traditionally have not loved Darkness that much, but this blend of all three champions has always been really interesting to me. I've always been a big fan of multi-champion decks, so hope to see that again. Hope to see GZ Never Walk Alone play as well as he did in the first series. And we'll see what Mo can do in this game as well. See if he can people box, fight GZ Never Walk Alone.
Yeah, like Mo finally getting some, spotlight. Been a while, but I'm happy to see Mo play. Like I feel like a lot of people don't like they underestimate him a lot. I kind of always bring up people underestimating, certain players, but Mo was always looked as this triple aggro guy, right? Just because of that one good run. But people don't realize how versatile he is. Like he sure definitely likes certain things, but when he also knows he has a very athlete mindset of trying to be the best he can, right? And that always kind of comes down to playing the best decks and how he can do it at the best possible rate. And like we see that plenty of time, and we might definitely see it in this gameplay from him today.
Yeah, definitely, Annie. And we are going to see him pilot this Fizz Samira deck. You and I both know how much Mo loves this style of deck, like this Shelly Fizz style of deck. I remember all the way back when I first started playing seriously, he was the TF Fizz guy, or at least one of them. Um, uh,
Or
he
the
and
TF
Drizzt,
Nami, yeah, exactly.
yeah. So he's definitely has a tool that he's familiar with in this deck, and we'll see if he can play it and how he pilots it today to find if he can find a victory with it.
And like Mo's also a type of player which will just run through a certain matchup over and over again just to understand how do I beat it, right? So
Mhm.
like, even though on paper this is slightly favored for set karma, Mo normally has an idea of what he has to play for, and he might not have the cards he wants right now, but he's definitely probably gunning for stuff like Inferno, All Out, which is being played right now. Just put a bit of damage in, but might be Caustic Rift, and if that is the case, Mo might actually be happy to see that disappear from Rito's hand.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I would be very happy to see it get come out this early just on a single card. Yeah, you're losing 4 damage and but you're trading 2 cards for 2 cards, and that Caustic Rift is so damaging. It's one of the best ways for your Fizz to get dealt with.
It is damaging and like it's good to see one go, but when you have another one in hand, like G's always kind of draws in matchups like this. It will get frustrating because you really need to play for the certain amount of value you can with Samiraphas, and this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna be playing Bard Chain here to get some type of draw, not prioritizing the Fury because it might be a liability here, even though we could have done both at the same time and maybe just play for a potential Shelly draw or a Samira draw.
And GC Never Walk Alone picks up a Mystic Shot off of that Clock Lane. That's gonna potentially be valuable a little bit later into this game. But Mo, such a gamer that he is, dodges the fleeting on the Shelly and draws into Inferno, letting him set up for this next turn quite well. I would be pretty happy with this outcome. I don't think you can take that attack though.
I I can't believe that Shelly actually just dodged that fleet in. This is exactly what Mo needed. Needed the Inferno just to kind of pop through, and Set does not have 5 attacks. Sure, we can kill it with other things here, but it not being able to kill it straight away and you having the availability to potentially play Shelly here or the Fury and just play it through, maybe even Miracle Out is definitely going to be a worry for G's Never Walk Alone, and this is why they kind of run with the game sometimes.
Yeah, this turn definitely has to begin with this Father Fury, and we are going to be a bit
Well,
sad when it gets hit with the Caustic Rift number 2, but getting some
sharpened here.
card draw going is great.
Sharpened is nice, and we do have a draw. Can we get another, you know,
Ooh.
buff card? We get Swindle. Swindle is something here with the recall.
Yeah, but Mo has to start making a choice at this
Wow.
point. He is getting to the point where his unit mana is running quite low, so he may not opt to continue drawing with these plunder cards.
I
Burning
think you kind of have
Spectre.
to go for though, like especially seeing that Caustic Rift in their hand. You need to know, okay, like I've only got so much time, and I need to capitalize on, it, right? So,
Yeah,
but
but
I mean,
at
at the
this
same
point,
time, sorry, Monty, I'm kind of running away with my words, but like maybe you do play it slow because you do have that Shelly, and if they don't Corsic right now, you can maybe get some value from it.
I really didn't like that, to be honest. I would have kept mana up for this Noxian Telstones just to be able to protect our Inferno from that Caustic Rift that we know is available. But now, with the All Out being picked up, Mo feels quite a bit safer, I would say. Fortunately,
Sadly,
still
it,
going to go down here, though.
yeah, it does not have a proc here. The Shapen Resolve might come out instead, but you really wish you had something like a warning shot, or even the stylus shot, and you would have still had enough mana to play everything because you would have played it before the Shelly. But the Mystic will come out, and it gives you a bit of time though. Mr. Mo might looking a bit lost with the Shelly, but you're still dealing 5 here of pressure with the 4-3, and not only that, but having potential turns to combo out with the Inferno next turn.
Yeah. He is going to be able to save himself this All Out to draw further with the Inferno next turn, which I think is actually going to be pretty big. We can
So
also use this prize fight right now to chunk this Karma down if we wanted to, which I don't hate either. Or just to kill this set through this momentous choice.
yeah,
This is
I'm
honestly one of the coolest applications of Prize Fight that I didn't even consider when I saw the card. I didn't realize that it could help you make great trades like this. So one of those standout cards from the newest expansion, in my opinion, and definitely one that's impressed me far beyond what I initially expected.
right. I'm a bit confused here that we could have actually just Momentous on the Forge. Play the Forge, like, Momentous with the attack into the Forge Chief and actually just chump that rather than putting Set in a potential liability. But, because I guess, like, it's really hard to think of Prize Fight being a card, but I guess that's a small thing that you kind of nitpick on, but we are getting into the next turn here, and Rito picking up lifesteal here. It's kind of being slow. You have all your engines, and if we can just get Inferno off the board, this might be very, very nice to start slowly stabilizing.
Yeah, getting the Sky Singer down now means that this deck is going to be so cheap. And we've generated a draw spell here as well, which means that this Karma is going to be able to pop off in a turn or two. Not to mention all those coins are going to start stacking up slowly, 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 and Karma is going to be able to regen basically all of the mana forever and ever and ever. So things are looking pretty good for GZ Never Walk Alone at this point. Unfortunately, yeah,
Is that? I'm wondering if that's the right play though. Like,
it's technically more damage than sending it phase.
right, but you also lose out on a plunder proc.
Yeah.
Like, your plunder procs are so light right now. Like, that is literally, if you get a Inferno here, or even a potential to push more damage, that all out being plundered is so much nicer here. And here comes down the Swindle. When I guess it helps push some damage. You're not gonna do it on the free six because that doesn't really do anything for your deck.
Yeah. Uh,
Your
I don't
coin,
really know what you're taking from this.
I guess, like, maybe you could push a potential 2, but it's still not nice here. We do have the Wrath, though. This is pushing 6, and Rito right now doesn't have much on the table. We're going all out here. Needs to probably draw, because you can pick through a lot of damage, even if we have this lifesteal available. Mo is just trying to dwindle down how, for any chance, maybe even running Pandemonium there south potentially to get it through, but Rito ruined my life just staring at this damage and going, hey, I'm probably going to draw, and then I'm probably going to heal next turn, and that might be it.
That might be it indeed, Eddie. This is looking pretty tied up to me. Set its level up animation gonna pop off here, and with the amount of mana available in this hand from Rito Ruined My Life, I think we might even see a showstopper come out.
Is
And
the
yeah,
palm as well, and that is game. Jeez, still taking it for game 1, and this probably means that I'm assuming Darkness is not banned. I feel like Mo probably banned BB, aka Mischievous Mirai Sierra, right?
most likely. I think Darkness is a little bit softer into aggro than Bilgewater PNZ, but we'll find out in a very brief moment. I'm sure our players are just taking a second to collect themselves between games. I know I do myself. But there we are, and it is in fact Bilgewater
Oh,
Seraphine that's on our
good.
screen. So
I guess Darkness is just the scary big bad wolf. Just been around, just throwing it on the table at all. And like, this is a really nice hand that you want from Mo, but did we okay, no, we kept all of it. Okay, sweet. I thought we moved away all of it. I'm like, hey, this is a pretty good hand. Why would we ever do that?
it's a pretty good hand for Mo indeed. I'm
Oh
not a
wow,
huge
that's an
fan.
amazing hand. Hello?
Yeah,
Double
no,
all
yeah,
out is
no.
exactly what you want in this matchup. Like, now the BB, also known as Mischievous Mirai, it's not that good. So like, if we get Star Wars shot here, you can kind of run away with Fizz, but damage is on the table already, and this is 5 straight away.
Yeah, that is a lot of damage for turn two. Not to mention the warning shot itself dealing its own damage. It's not looking good. Not looking good for Jeezy Never Walk Alone at this spot. But Mo is also, he has no gas. And as I say that, he top decks a Swindle. So he's got a little bit more gas now. Can dig into the hand of Rito Ruin My Life. Maybe pick up something like a Formula. Or just some protection. There's options.
If that warning shot was like Starless shot, you'd be in such a better position. Like the
Yeah.
chances, like the thing with Starless shot just being able to always be a plunder threat makes the deck just it makes it a lot more easy to win single handedly through like fizz and not rely on your high pressure plays. But two, it's also just really nuts, and it really just makes this deck so much better.
Yeah, it definitely does. Stylish Shot, probably the most broken card of the expansion.
It's
I think.
definitely up there. I mean, I think Samira's maybe a bit more broken, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's definitely up there.
Yeah. Samira doesn't count though. She's just like the squad cast. We're pretending that she doesn't exist.
Alright, saying that, and then I'm pretty sure half the people on the squadcast like Red Pup Gamers, and they literally have Samira on their Aegis team logo. But hello.
Yeah, no, they did a bit this week where they just pretended that Samira didn't exist for the entirety of the episode because there was no point in having an episode if all we did was talk about Samira.
True. But I mean, like, it's somewhat important to say because like the thing's kind of broken, but I feel like Mirai is like found so much good leeway in this rotation as well. Like Mirai is actually just so insane. There aren't that much pings outside of Bandle anymore. And
Yeah.
it just feels so nice to play this because you almost have an understanding. Like you could deal probably 20 damage if you could do that with the Mirai, right? Like if you can get 20 kings, you almost feel safe that no one's ever gonna ping it now.
That is true. This Mirai card is kind of crazy. It was already making some waves before the expansion, but now with rotation and with the new card pool, it's definitely one of the more powerful cards left remaining from the previous pool.
Well,
With Seraphine doubling spells and whatnot, it just makes so many kegs so quickly.
right, but now we are, we should highlight this game, and this is a very crucial turn for Mo. Mo holding on these all outs, having that plunder proc makes his fizz go to 5 health here. This BB, you can't really get it through to 5. I'm pretty sure we're gonna play it slow though. So we got one. It depends what our coin's at, right? Because
Yeah.
we could go. It's dealing 2 damage, 3 damage, 4 damage. It can get there if the coin is +2. We are unless this fizz flips, then it actually changes the whole thing, and then you also. Okay, so we are one off, and then we just follow up with the parlay, though, right? This should actually be lethal for Mo. You can't kill it, right? The Corsic Riff is slightly off because it does go to 6 now.
Yes. I believe you are correct.
Like, wait, hold on. Can we placemaker here? Will that do it? We can placemaker, right? That actually does save us. Mo opting out to push as much damage as possible is actually gonna be the forfeit here. Maybe you had to hold on to the sexual rally. The rally wasn't really doing much in the first place. You're always winning through fizz. It was gonna always probably die. Wait, hold on though. We can't actually do that. What am I talking about? If we actually placemaker now, the fizz actually does rally. Oh, but you're not really pushing damage, so it doesn't do much. Okay, no, this is still the right play. Right?
You
Like,
just killed the fizz, right?
yeah, you kill the fizz, like, even though the rally goes off, you have nothing here. So Mo opting out to rally here is going to be the downfall. You don't have that extra mana to really do anything, and gives you the opportunity to actually just placemaker, kind of forgetting that could be an out. Corsic Rift being heavily focused as a way to win, and geez, never walking alone, showing why he can stay in this game. And now this is kind of a scary board. We can get more coins here, and we just put pressure on the bat with this open.
Okay. But Mo not dead yet. Just basically dead.
There's always a chance for Mo in my heart. Okay, there's like Plunder, right? Another ping. Okay, down to 6. Now, What are they doing next turn? Well, they kind of need to hold on to the plunder though. I feel like at least.
I feel like he needs to flip the Samira though.
I mean, you could, and then what? You would have to attack. Like, I'm thinking, how do we win? And it might be for a Furna.
Yeah, probably. You're probably right. So I think we do definitely need to be considering keeping the thing.
Like, and yeah, and then Samira's viability. Like, a viability, a viability. Sorry, like, because now I can just get pinged here by the heavy metal. And also
Yeah.
just the Celestial Blessing, which is kind of scary because it just says there's no cards in hand that are units, and Mo doesn't want to know that. Mo actually wants a hand of units here because it means that they have no interaction, but this
Oh
is nothing
no.
but interaction, and these 2 mana stuns aren't going to do anything. It's just quite a sad day. Only can push 3 damage this turn, and this is it's looking like it's a sad day for Mo. Can't get his finalist run today. He's never walking alone. Standing strong, and now it's just a time of waiting and seeing how much, G's wants to just pop off.
Yeah, I know a lot of people have been asking, can Samira be targeted? Is Samira Fizz tier 0? And GZ will Never Walk Alone seems to think that, yeah, it can be targeted. It's a targetable deck. Yeah, it might be strong, but no, not tier 0. You guys are crazy talking. He's come out here today to prove that, and he's doing a fantastic job of it so far, running through some of the best Fizz Samira players out there. Both Mo and Simon are two notable longtime Fizz enjoyers. So we'll see. We'll see if he can continue to make his way make his way through the top cut and take down the finals as well. But this is looking very much like he sealed his way. He sealed his route there.
I was actually gonna say, like, I feel like maybe there is a spot where the Samira can maybe always win and like can kind of sneak through a win, but doesn't look like it today. G's never walk alone. Does take it here. Mr. Mo has to concede, and we will, conclude with that. 2-0 by G's never walk alone. And honestly, really well played. That Corsic riff line, just playing it slow, and then boom, I've got this Peacemaker if you even want to tap out, and it just absolutely nullified any type of damage.
Oh yeah. These have been some surprisingly quick games for some decks that you would think would like to take it to the late game, like the like the Seraphine Jack deck, and like the Darkness deck. I think we've seen almost every single game in this top cut end before round 8, which is kind of crazy.
It's also, I feel like, just the high pace of Samira,
Mhm.
because Samira works. It's very explosive, and like it's pretty obvious when games can be concluded because you don't have much in the tank if you play it a certain way, or you don't have the engine to really go for that high value play. And none of those games were really that. There was one Inferno line, but that was in the Celtic Simon game, and Mo just couldn't really work it out. There might have been a shot with that, holding up that 4 mana fizz. I think we never really needed that because we did have the parlay in hand. But nonetheless, he did try his best outside of it, and I think if G's never walks alone and sees another Samira player, they're definitely happy.
I would agree. Their odds of seeing another Samira player are not that great. Not that great. It would have to be Broken Ball because AJ decided that Fizz Samira was a liability and they were going to play Kale Leona Samira. So if Broken Ball can make his way through the other side of the bracket, then maybe GZ Never Walk Alone can take it down and finalize it. Might still be able to get there with even if he doesn't see a Samira Fizz player, but you know, it's a little bit easier when you hit your target. Ain't that right, Annie?
Yeah, definitely. And like, talking about AJ, just saying, playing Cal, Samira, Leona, this is really in flavor for them. Like, they are just like, I'm playing Beatsticks Demacia, even though, like, it's not Demacia, but Leona follows a similar fashion. And like, I am not surprised. I feel like AJ always leans towards anything that is very board based, and that could be a decider against G's Never Walks Alone. If they can't get a high, mischievous Mirai play with Caustic, it does become, something good for that Cal deck, and like you could just ban it, and then you have high pressure plays against Darkness. So if that is a matchup, it gets really, really close into, the finals.
Mhm. Absolutely. I think we are going to cut to a very quick break while we wait for our second semifinal match to finish and our finalists to arrange. Oh, we will be right back with you guys. We hope you stick around.
welcome everybody to the finals of this Aegis Esports Swiss tournament. And if you don't know, we've got G's Never Walk Alone taking out both games against Mo and Simon to hit the finals against another EU player, Broken Ball, also known as B-Ball, as some people like to call him for short. And just before we get into the games, Monty, I do want to talk about the sponsor once again, and it is Community Gaming. If it wasn't because of Community Gaming, we wouldn't have this prize pool. And if you don't know them, they run weekly tournaments for Valorant, Super Smash Bros, Legend of Runeterra, probably, I don't know, even maybe Clash Royale, I'm not sure. A lot of stuff, really. And it basically is that all-in-one platform that helps supercharge all specific events, no matter from grassroots to tier one, just helping them out. And if you want to be a part of this, maybe even, try and set up a tournament yourself, experience yourself at communitygaming.io or visit their Discord.
They are an amazing sponsor who've been very, very kind to the LoR community. But you know who else has been kind to the LoR community? Aegis Esports themselves, who have been putting on league after league after league, and there's another one on starting this month, and you should all go sign up for that. Only 32 teams are going to be taken, maybe more, depending on how many signups there will be in the end. But go get your spot while you can. But with that, we are going to go get into our very final match quite soon, in just a second. And as Annie said, it's Jizzy Never Walk Alone versus Broken Ball. We've followed Jizzy Never Walk Alone all day so far. I can't wait to see how he does in this finals. Annie, I know you've had him on your radar. He's been your guy to take it down all day. Do you think he's going to do it?
Well, I mean, like, Broken Ball does have some merit in the lineup, and geez, well, he's walking somewhere, and he's walking probably to victory. Like, that's what he's been doing all day. If he's been versing Samira, kind of been very happy to see that he was on the top bracket and just going through. So I feel like he's got definitely a top chance in here. And even though Samira is a powerhouse, maybe in tournaments you might need to rethink your Samira deck because it might just be getting overthrown by heavy amount of counters here.
And here we see that Seraphine Jack deck that he's piloted with such great success all evening up against the Seraphine deck that we've watched him farm. So I think things are off to a good start.
Yeah, just a bit of a precursor. It's not actually the Bill's Water deck. It is the Ionia PNZ deck, the Set Karma.
Sorry.
Which no worries. I mean, hey, look, it's hard, right? You see Caustic Rep and you're like, oh, yep, cool, that's for that Mirai card. Because like that's what it's been doing. It's been absolutely dominating any type of board state that you can have. Kind of like a fast speed pack your bags, but cheaper with Mirai. It's a very cool card, and like now getting back into this game. B-Ball just trying to get some pressure here, and yeah, free damage potentially coming in the face, but we do have the high note to potentially mitigate this if we wanted to.
Yeah, I don't. Such a great card, actually. One of the best ones to come out of the Seraphine expansion, and it's so versatile. But here we are gonna see nothing happen. Basically, we're just gonna get some discounts going.
But I feel like B-Ball has like wanted to play into that because now they can actually just play the Samira, and it means that they might not have a good chance to really deal with it, and you have to kind of find a way to really run with it. And this is that potential chance. You have the flare, you have a swindle to actually recall it as well. So if I was Broken Ball and if Broken Ball was Broken Ball, they're probably gonna put as much pressure as possible and just try and flip the Samira so they can kind of get ahead of this game here and hope that there isn't really much removal to really be dealt with today.
The Samira is going to be able to be flipped so very quickly. It's amazing how fast she pops off in this deck and how quickly she's able to rally as well. I don't know if you've seen the turn one, the single turn flip and rally yet, Annie, but that's something that I've been a big fan of doing myself. It's a little bit gross.
Yeah, don't worry, I've seen it. It's not fun. Like, especially if you're playing the deck and you see your whole hand is just 1 drops and 0 drops, you're like, oh yeah, that's pretty cool. And like we're just having such an explosive start. This is so drastically different from any other game we've seen with Samira and Broken Ball. This is why he's always on the top. This is always why he can kind of get ahead of the pack because he knows the cards he needs and he knows how to perfect the play to beat any scenario. And this is what it's going to come down to. We don't really have good removal here besides the set. And even then, you just have the Pirouette as a top deck.
Pirouette is an excellent top deck for this situation here, although it is going to feel a little bit bad if it starts burning you cards with this Inferno. Still, you do need to get her down this turn, but I almost wonder if B-Ball could have taken a riskier pass and tried to give something up. I
You could
doubt GZ
actually,
Never Walk Alone would have played into that, though.
yeah, like there is actually something like you could just not plunder it and
Yep,
then pop off
that's true.
next turn, but at the same time you are flipping the Samira and all these fleeting cards that might be drawn. I don't think you mind just cycling through them if it helps with your Samira and Chain Bar is another card that's going to help with it. Drawing two. Who cares about the Shelly when you can keep rallying? And this Starless shot isn't going to get much value besides the ping, sadly, but still a +1 to the Samira.
Yeah. One free damage and one more count towards your rally is definitely not a bad thing, that's for sure, Annie. And speaking of stylish shot, here's another one off the top for B-Ball. It's gonna be pretty good for him. This is looking like it's about to be a very, very powerful turn. I wonder if Rito Ruin My Life is gonna be able to survive through it.
So,
With the hand, maybe not. Although Facebreaker, kinda good.
well, this play changes everything, I feel like,
Yep.
right? Like now we're not playing for the Samira line. We're just trying to just smoke him.
Yep.
But I
Burn.
don't know. Yeah, I don't know if that's great though, because you do play into Corset. Like they've been holding on to these certain free cards for a while, been cycling through everything else on the right side of their hand, and like you probably know that they do have some burn. So I'm wondering, do you just play for this Inferno here, keep getting as much value? Because I feel like that's right, especially in the all out, because you can't even all out here to save a monkey or anything, and the Corset Rift with the set spell does just it stops any potential for anything to happen here.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting line that B-Ball decided to take here. I think he probably opted for it because he has the second Pandemonium as well, so he just wants to start getting these out of his hand and making use of them while he can. But it, like you said, Annie, it opens you up to a lot, and it doesn't make good use of the resources that you do have available to you. So I'm not the
Like,
biggest fan of it. I think
like
this Powder Pandemonium could have been an end game card, like
I,
very, very end game.
right. So I'm thinking about it more, and like, Broken Ball is just a genius. Like, sure it plays into the Corsic Rift, but this is actually just the right play. You might not get Inferno value, which I really want, but he's just ending the game next turn.
Oh wait,
Like,
you're right.
like I still like feel like Inferno's nice, but he just wants to end the game here. You plunder again and you flip with a Samira. This is gonna be really nice because you're on the back foot already, and like, oh, I just feel stupid. This is why Broken Bull is so good at the game. Like he
Yeah.
sees these lines, double Pandemonium with a Samira is gonna absolutely put so much damage, and then you're probably gonna kill with over the top stuff.
Yeah, he can just rally here with Samira, and GZ Never Walk Alone isn't even going after her. He knows that if he does, he's just gonna lose the game to the rally that's gonna be forced out. Still, this rally, now we're probably gonna save this Inferno. I would imagine that the all out goes on to her to keep
100%.
her alive.
It's just
And
more
there's the
damage as well.
rally. Herbal Fish, that's good.
It's nice, definitely afterwards, right? Because we do have the attack token next, but
Mhm.
so we get the panda, we get the monkeys out right now. This is dealing what 2-1s with everything. We have the palm. I assume we're palming the elusive. So, oh, interesting. Okay. Guess that isn't that less damage?
Yeah, that is less damage. I don't. I'm confused by that one as well.
Are we?
I was really liking the way this was looking, and now I'm still liking the way this is looking. I still think this looks really good, but
I I think
I'm not sure why we opted to play the Burblefish and go for the Shelly line now when we could have done it earlier, or when we could have done it later.
So
Because
okay, maybe he's just worried about another Corsic. Like he's just
but
doing
wasn't
the safer
pandemonium
line.
just lethal?
Not if you have another Corsic, right? Like you can't really get there. And I guess this kind of plays better with Samira.
Maybe.
Uh,
That's fair.
especially if you get coin, maybe this kind of works nicely here. Even though coin might just be a plus, like as a plus 0, right, with mana.
Hmm,
That's still kind of nice.
I guess
So we
that's true.
and then we also have Infernum stuff. But yeah, it is just a +1. So okay, so they can block the Shelly here and then also Mystic the 2/1. We get a free attack. That means we are pushing a free attack and then we do push 4 damage there. That formal is going to be very nice and we're probably going to hold back, but play this Noxus card maybe on the stack because we are threatening lethal.
Is there a
So
reason
we
not to play this one drop now, though?
yeah, because you want to just proc through you don't want to be playing the one drop because it means that they can Mystic your Inferno or it can trade through, and you really just kind of want this spell to push a tiny bit of more damage, right?
No, you're right.
So yeah, like and like you might just also fleet something else that you don't want to fleet. Like that top card could be very very important, and yeah, we've got Samira almost flipping as well. Flare will be 0 mana. This is really, really nice. The palm comes out. We will be dealing at least 2 damage here. I assume we might be Noxusing here. Keeping up the 4-3 Inferno, and that's what will happen. Pushing another 3 damage, going down to 6. But the Mystic comes out, keeping your life total healthy, and even though there's some stabilization, it looks pretty behind, and I don't know what to say. We are hyping up G's Never Walk Alone, but people understands like, yeah, okay, like this caster guy Anemo was saying that it doesn't matter how good you are, you can't win. I'll just win with Samira, and this is definitely scary for G's Never Walk Alone.
Yeah. Scary is a bit of an understatement, Eddie. This is over. There's no combination of cards with this hand and this amount of mana that I can think of that gets him out of this situation. The
So
Samira always gets to rally here. The Fizz showed up just in time. There's a Pandemonium left in hand.
if we
I don't
if
know.
if we okay, so we can will the Shelly. Right, that stops 3 damage, and it also means Shelly doesn't buff the the powder pandemonium. They still get 2 damage and plus another 1 with the flare. That's free. How much monkeys are they getting? They're getting
Full board.
full board, right? But then we can Caustic, but then they get another +1, so they get +4 here, 6, 5. That is lethal because they can flip the Samira again and just flare. Yeah. So yeah, this is lethal no matter how you look at it. Even if
Yeah.
the Corsic Rift might give you some leeway here, and like people will even try to play that around, the turn before, and even though it comes up now, the damage is less there. But hey, like Bebo just doesn't matter. We're gonna be flipping anyway, and we're gonna go for the other line with elusives, be more safe, and safe is the name of their game all this time, and this will be lethal nonetheless. Can't keep up with anything, and Broken Bull just showing how good he can be, the cards he needs, and how to focus to win. And this is the first time I've ever seen the surrender from G's Never Walk Alone, and now we get into game 2.
Yo, Eddie, this Samira deck is kind of fucked up, bro. This is
It's
like
it's
not
good.
okay.
It's yeah, it's definitely good. I mean, it shows, highlights and like nostalgia of like Tefers, Zoe Nami, but it's almost the whole package.
Yo,
I feel like we
it's like
have,
all of those decks
it's
together.
all of them together, right? You have the engine that you want, you have the early versatile potential damage, you have the versatility with Samira, and then you have the the Shelly game plan with 20 million spells. Like this is exactly kind of the stuff you want here, and now we're getting into a game of you know Set Karma and Jace Kate, which feels kind of refreshing because we don't really see much besides Sarah gameplay today.
I know. This is interesting that we're calling these decks refreshing from this point. At this point, we're looking at a deck that's looking to abuse Serene Skysinger and discount its entire mana pool so it can just spam things infinitely and have infinite mana turns with Karma, and that's refreshing. What is this world that we've come to? What is lore in 2023, Eddie? I don't know anymore.
Well, yeah, there's not really much room for like I want to say like there's not much room for creativity, right? And this is kind of all you can kind of do to have exploitable creativity in the game, or like be exploitable. And
Mhm.
it's still slow. Like it's not great. Like it has taken a while, and especially with this dwindling amount of like post rotation removal from PNZ, it doesn't feel great. And
What have we here?
maybe like Broken Ball is going to be happy with that because you do run stuff like Theros, and if you can keep up the pressure and set isn't leveled, you might be in a very very nice state
Scoping the area.
for the game.
True.
Trap is set.
Caitlyn gets a free attack in here. Nothing GZ Never Walk Alone can do to stop it, except recall, but that's a lot. That's extra. So just gotta let her through. But Flash Bomb Trap right off the top feels good, man.
And Sky Singer being a bit of a not a great card, I feel like. Definitely amazing if you get it predicted and get it a bit earlier than usual, but we don't really have that much like expensive spells, right? They're very four costly and they're only somewhat more when with Karma.
I think the most broken thing about that card is that it turns formula into 3 mana draw two.
Right.
Right?
Right, and zero mana and draw two is kind of nuts. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's
But
good, but I can see people definitely popping out of it, right? Like it doesn't feel like a necessity, and the better lifesteal might kind of help.
yeah, the body's like not bad though. It's definitely not like the worst body. It sticks around. It usually heals for 6 minimum if you have a buff spell for it, a little more, right? So
Yeah, I get
I don't know.
like
It's definitely a card that I think is one of the weaker ones on the list. I agree with you. I don't really know what it's doing exactly, but um,
I kind of get like Agent of Law vibes from like Hearthstone with it, right? It's just kind of a good body, gets some
yeah,
value in it, and heals you. And like, I guess with meta games like this and how like power level is a bit skewed all over the place, it can be quite nice. And something nice with Broken Ball is pushing in all that 9 damage. Like, hello, like now we have to kind of just play sit here on the off chance of killing something. But we do have the deny. I was going to say the vengeance will be something that Jeez doesn't want to see, but it's going to actually throw Broken Ball off, and it's going to come down, and we will see a deny here. I'm pretty sure.
yeah, you have to deny this. There's nothing you can do. You can't let it go through. Oh, it's not the vengeance coming out. This you don't deny.
No, not this one, but I'm pretty sure
Other,
you can't keep up the
Peacemaker protocol.
like.
but
I
there's
guess
some other stuff that you deny, and we'll see that in a sec.
yeah. I mean, I guess maybe you can actually let this go and just keep it up for the karma, but at the same time, I feel like you're never killing karma, so you do need to just keep pressuring, right? Like, I don't think there's ever a idea of outvalue, especially of set, because set's also another card that can't outvalue. So Broken Ball has been doing what he has to do in pressure, but is now on this weird circumstance of vengeancing, and wow, this deny will be very, very awkward for them, and I feel like even Jesus Never Walk Alone might just need a pass here. Don't really want to dwindle down, but it says, hey, I got to do it anyway.
Laying the groundwork.
The good thing about this though is that the flash bomb traps with the Caitlyn damage onto the set means that there is a good chance that he just ends up dying. So people not doesn't feel the worst about that. Like it definitely sucks to get got by a deny that you can't account for because it's been discounted. But at the same time, you're getting free damage on. You're forcing spells out that are going to always be available, and you do need to be able to start chunking this set down eventually.
And tag out, showing the versatility that it normally does, and that's why a lot of people like this card. We need another card to kind of get us back in the game, and it has to be a unit. And set being recalled allows you to do that. But I'm wondering, like, can we get 12 mana here? We can't, right? We would have. Oh, I guess we could spend 12 mana with the coin. And I'm wondering if set is flipped, it might give you some like cool plays here if the Jace might pop out. But it doesn't look like set's flipping anytime
Hot on
soon.
the trail.
Yeah, not quite yet. Anyways, we are gonna get to see the formula be cast if he wants to. There's quite a few options here actually.
And set is so nice with PNZ as well. What I've found because of that formula, it allows you to kind of consistently showstopper in the late turns. So even if you don't find that karma, you can actually just formula into all your certain amount of mana, and then just get the showstopper straight away. But I don't know if production can get us a check on the set level up, but if they can, it'll be very nice to know because it kind of changes the whole turn here, and that is actually 12 here. So even though this Jace looks scary, we can actually flip the set, get a showstopper, and get back into this game.
Flipping set and getting showstopper here would be really nice, really really good for GZ Never Walk Alone. But B-Ball has access to level Jace with double vengeance, so even if set flips, he's still probably gonna die, and I
Well,
think things are still
he'll
looking
die.
pretty bad.
Yeah, he'll die definitely, but you have some chance to kind of get back in here, right? Like now
Yeah,
we can
but actually,
palm with the formula here. We can also just showstopper the Jace, and now like Broken Bull doesn't really have much that they can do. They have double vengeance for a Karma top deck, but they need to find units, otherwise they're not actually going to win the game.
this was kind of a throw, right? This can get denied now, and then okay, I guess
It
not.
can be, but I feel like Jeez is happy with that. But we don't. Oh, okay, we don't go for showstopper. That's what I don't like. I don't actually
I,
like that we.
I really
Oh,
think we should have denied that, or at least tried to flip the set while he was on the board. Because
yeah.
like
I
if
mean,
we flip him there, we're getting a showstopper, like you said, and that's really good. And now we're
yeah. Like,
denying this to keep a 3/6 alive.
this doesn't feel great here. We could have forward harm simply stop both of that damage, and then have that showstopper, and then maybe Serene next turn, or even have the predict. The predict draw into Karma is just not game winning, but it really puts people on the back foot there.
Hmm.
This is now just changing everything. Even though it looked like maybe G's had a chance with that showstopper play, the Serene is dwindling down. Might even get hit by the flash bombs. I'm kind of scared here. It does, and
Dude,
this is
there's
now.
draw from the side of B-ball,
Oh
so he's
no!
pretty in pretty good straits here. Yep, double Piltover Tellstones for the progress day. Feels good,
Oh,
man.
Lord. Get you back into the game. Like this wouldn't have been a problem as well if we just grab showstopper. You don't need them flipped before you get it. Like you just need to play 12 in general, and yeah, this is a lot of stuff, but you're still not units. A bit cheap though. The full chief and the sentinels is nice. With the Quietus is going to get you some value. We do get a set here. Set can't get much, but you have the Karma. Karma is drawn. Of course, yeah, Karma is definitely the play. I'm overexcited on the set, and Karma gets down. You do have a chance. Not as nice as you wanted, but it weirdly tapped you out of Vengeance. So there's a small chance here.
Yeah, this is what are these coins at though? That's the real question. How much mana
Like,
can we get back here?
I think like 1 mana.
Okay.
We
Okay, so
need
we're only
like
getting
place your bets. If we can draw it into like place your bets, then it's quite nice. But
yeah.
otherwise, you're a bit awkward because I feel like that's your biggest real like play there, and We don't even really have the flow proc on this course as well, so mana is going to be super tight. We have the Jace in hand and no shock blast, but we just go with the open and hope that they can't do much here while keeping up a vengeance in the hand.
I feel like you should. You've seen two denies actually. I was like, you should play the chase so that way you can double kill the Karn. But it doesn't matter. Two denies have come out. You don't really want to play around the third. I don't think you can afford to. Plus, you can do
And
it this way as well and start with the Piercing Darkness for 5. This will draw out any other resources that they might have before you can letting you go in with the Vengeance afterwards.
a nice pickup is a 0 mana draw too. And we get to place your bets. Okay, our hand is a bit too hefty though. So
On the mark. No backup needed.
we might be throwing away a bit of draw, but it could actually be good. Like we might want to just regen as much as possible. And another Karma here. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
look, I was saying that this is horrible 4Gs, and I still feel like those 2 turns were a bit awkward, but we have a chance. We can get back in this game. I'm pretty sure we stop the Caitlyn from attacking, but the Jace and the Vengeance here. Hey, so if
I'm
Jace
pretty
comes down,
sure he's more than fine.
I don't know. Like, I don't want to place my bets. No pun intended, right? Like, I feel like it's kind of awkward because we could definitely say that G's never walking on is fine, but we have the Jace here, we have Soul Harvest, and we have another Feros, but we do get a draw. We get the coin though. I'm not too sure how that works. No, we don't get the coin. That's why I didn't actually like to do the coin first because you
Yeah.
run into that problem here, and now G's is kind of stun struck, kind of looking into the light of like, what did I just do? And now it's awkward. You can't actually exploit like you wanted to. Okay, this is really awkward now. Now there's Jace knowing that they don't really have much to do, and the karma is gone. You know what you're dealing with, and this is really sad for G's never walking alone here.
Yeah, this ended up really weird.
It's
Definitely
still
a weird spot.
it's not over though, right? Like have we have blockers and we do have Mystic, so we can Karma and then I guess we can play into Former and then hope we draw place your bets, but then we don't have hand space. Oh, this is really confusing, and this is why control mirrors can kind of be awkward. We're still not dead yet, but this gives you enough pressure at least for you to even have one vengeance online. This is, yeah, not really what you want to see. I guess you can also recall as well, though. Like, there is some lines here.
There are some lines indeed. Do you want to recall one of these? I think you might have. I think you might have wanted to recall one of the 3-2s instead of killing. It's close though.
I think we actually want to recall our karma, right? Oh, we don't have mana. Okay, never mind. Yeah, we might have
Protector,
had
you
to
mean?
actually, yeah, not use the mystic there, and then recall our karma for any potential vengeance, and then we can actually replay the karma again, and then kind of go for another line. Maybe get place your bets the following turn, and then you have the coin in hand. Like, I feel like that is your best out, and even though that is your best out, sadly doesn't go for it. Even like a deal 6 with the 6 damage spell would have not mattered. Like you could be at any mana point, below 6 and it won't matter. And yeah, this tag out comes in, but it doesn't do anything. Oh, do we get 2 coins? Maybe we do get 2 coins.
Yeah, we should get 2 coins, I think.
Okay, we do. Okay, so there is a chance. I'm freaking out.
We can replay the karma, but that doesn't. I guess it opens us up into the next turn for a double. Oh, actually, Sag gonna
Wow,
come down
goes to
instead with the showstopper.
Showstopper should be available here. And then does okay, there's so much stuff going on. We need to have a reset here, okay? So we get +2 coins from the tag out, and we have the availability to play the set, and we do. And then now we just show sovereign this Caitlyn. I'm not sure if the strike would go through if we attack with the Caitlyn, but we are being safe, and now we are back in it. Okay, this is getting so messy. We get the Jace off the board. This is a really nice play, and holding on to dear life, trying to do as much as you can. And I feel like you might have to all in with a Spheros here to try and go for a lethal or something.
You need to transmogrify, but you can't because you have no units. So what are you doing here?
Well,
That's not
we
it.
do have draw.
Oh,
We do
that'll
have
do it.
the high note here. That will mean Feros is off the table, and it gives you turn 10 into Karma again. Well, not turn 10, but 10 mana at least. And what a rocky road, Monty. But now we have a hand of nothing besides it inside of Aegis. So we're going to just pop off next turn.
This has
But
been a very, very interesting finals game too. B-Ball really looking to close it out in what we thought might have been an unfavored set,
okay.
but now
Another vengeance, though, Monty.
that's pretty good. That's a good pickup. We have ways to
That's,
deal with all these karmas, but that's another showstopper.
it might do you enough, though. Honestly, like, it could be a bit over exaggerated, but now we can deal with double karmas. We deal 8, but then you have a Jace play, and we don't have. I was gonna say we don't really have anything to stop that Jace play, but we do have coins. So I feel like maybe you need double Jace lines, or Jace into the 6 damage spell, and that could be an out. Like there are still ways for Broken Bull to win, but now we're just gonna let Karma do its thing with these coins and pop off.
I really like making more karmas in the deck there from GZ Never Walk Alone. I think that's huge. I think he's definitely not going to be able to win this without karma, and I think leaving it down to the last one is not safe. Yes, it's a little bit sketchy and a little bit suspect to be doing it right now, especially this way, with no card draw, with only the 1 card draw available and no way to cast it this turn, but he's lucky as hell, and he generated some more card draw so he can start digging through the deck yet again. And there's the karmas that he just shuffled.
There's the karmas here. Now, like you were saying, why it's good is because you're threatening that other chance of a vengeance, right? Or chance of removal, and Broken Bull has to actually vengeance the set. Showstopper just hanging in hand, but it means Jace can't come down. Even if, wanted to come down, that Showstopper was there. And what are we doing for Broken Bull? Are we really trying to hope for this double Jace top deck, or the 6 damage draw at least? 6 damage draw? Sorry, 6 damage card. True shot.
It has to be a formula into. It's got to be formula into the Shock Blast into Mystic Shot off the top, right? That's his outs.
Yeah.
I guess
Or
it
the
could have
Shock
also been
Blast.
something generated off of the Pharaohs.
Jay's Shock Blast also wins you as well, like because we can't actually deal with it, but it's and like Broken Bull, it might be a less reliable. No denies in the deck anymore, and we just have to play units. Jace isn't going to do anything. Set comes down. We have the palm. We can probably get a showstopper this turn as well, but we opt for the karma. Karma's nice. Like we can just get more coins and pop off.
Mm-hmm.
What we're doing, we just
the infinite mana available to this deck with karma and coins is kind of nuts. I'm not gonna lie.
Even if it's just +1, like this +1 is kind of doing a lot here, and this palm is also doing nice. And like timeline that comes down, we're playing it slow, understanding what we have to go for, and with no vengeance being a factor anymore, we're just happy to finally try and win this game through all of this, I don't know, incohesive struggle for finding value throughout these few last turns.
One stack. You look away for a second, you look back, there's all kinds of random cards in hands for both players, all kinds of cards on the stack. Karma's popping off doing her things. As Caitlyn's just been permanently stunned. I think this is the third Caitlyn now too. And then Jace is just chilling in hand, like you said. Can't really come down safely, which is just unfortunate.
right?
People
And
went from looking like he was in a really good spot to looking like he's just kind of floundering and won't actually be able to find his way to the victory against this Karma.
like
Recalls
we
being generated now, Notifies, Encore, just more and more and more random cards. The value is infinite and never ending. Now there's 2 more Karmas in the deck as well. How do you ever get there now?
it it got super dicey. Like we talked about this as a way of like Broken Ball understanding how he had to win, and it was trying to do it all before turn day. Obviously, there were, those certain type of vengeance plays to kind of get through there to have some more leeway. But over time and just the last, breath of Jesus holding it on for dear life is doing it here. And this is definitely a hefty board that they want to see to get showstoppers. And even with this pickup, I don't think it's going to be enough.
Yeah, Dawning Shadow is cute. It's gonna be able to kill one of the champions here, maybe, kind of, except for the fact that there's a recall available.
Do we have enough mana to actually play this turn and get the showstopper? I wasn't tracking, but we might have had to go for a coin play. We'll see it now anyway, but there was a potential that we might have had to actually go for a coin play here. So yeah, we don't actually get showstoppers.
You don't have the hand space for it, because you would have to do like a place your bets play, which would cause you to start overdrawing, right?
Right, you had to keep on the hold on to the coin though. So that would have had to have been to do with holding on the coin last turn, but you
Yeah.
kind of wanted the extra mana. So like that is like a slightly not macro play, but a turn ahead play just to try and get set to work out. But even if that mattered, I don't think you're too scared of this board. The Jace is coming down low and trying to do acceleration. I say not scared, but there's some work you can do. The will comes out just to get any potential factor of that being a threat no longer.
Didn't Opted not to formula there, which I think is reasonable, but I might have started trying to dig a little bit further. We really want to be finding like Mystic Shot, Shock Blast, something of that nature.
Right.
I like playing the unit too, but I don't think it's nearly as impactful as something else would have been.
Well, these fearsums are actually really scary because in a ideal world for Broken Ball, like let's just say they had nothing out, you could actually go for lethal here, because Corsic into Quietus, the free one, can actually push you for lethal. Unfortunately, though, there is Notify to stop any of this, and here it comes out, keeping up the 1-1, and means that no Quietus can be onto that free one to remove a fearsome. So it does mitigate a lot of things, and I don't even think that the Caitlyn has hit any flash bombs this turn to push any type of damage. I'm not sure if I'm wrong though.
I don't think there have been any flash bombs placed into the deck for some time now, so nope.
Sweet. There is an outbow. Like we still have that chance of drawing Shock Blast here.
Yeah, Shock Blast off the top isn't out.
And here it is. Okay, we have a chance. Inside of Aegis will be something that maybe hold us into this game here, but I don't think you have really any boost speed draw anymore, right? Any healing. And
nothing that I can think of. And especially if he's going to get to double it with this Jace.
So we get place the bets out and get you back into the mana threshold here of something, but oh, that is close. Karma almost dies, still on the board. Is it gone though? Karma is gone. You can't do anything here.
That's huge.
This is just changed into a win for Broken Ball. Have to play Karma, hoping that Shock Blast won't be played at all. What is this game, Monty? Broken Ball holding for dear life from this value generation of disaster here, and finally finds that win, the thing he's been looking for forever. finds that possibility and gets it, shows why he should be recognized as someone absolutely insane. Insane in the membrane, I don't know, but insane at this game, that's for
He's the
sure,
GOAT.
and takes the win.
He's the GOAT. B-Ball's the GOAT, man. B-Ball's always been the GOAT. Big man knows what's up. Like, I I don't know. He really showed up today. Like that was a very very impressive showing through game one, and then game two, back and forth and 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 back and forth. Finally, he got there. Like I don't know how he battled through what was it, 6 karmas total. I think it was
Well,
6 karmas that he beat.
it
That's
was a lot,
fucked up. That's
and
fucked up.
how he did that was just navigating a certain way to, pressure a certain amount of mana points to just find that one line, to find that shock blast line, and that's what he did. He played any around even a potential deny. He he did so well in that instance and found the perfect spot to play for the shock blast and the shock blast, turning up at the right time. It
Mhm.
kind of capitalized on, we could maybe say, misplays from G's. I feel like there were definitely hard spots to navigate, but nonetheless, he finds the win, and I don't know. I'm amazed. Not his first time winning, America's tournaments, and while talking about who's just won now, we actually have Broken Bull for an interview. What's up, Broken Bull? Congrats on the win.
Where the fuck am I?
What's up?
Oh,
You're in the
what's up?
caster chat. You're the
You just-
GOAT.
yeah.
You
What's up,
won. So
yes?
now you get an interview. What's good, bro?
All good. How are you guys doing?
Doing great. I mean, I think we just watched probably one of the intense games we've seen for a while, and you're kind of just holding on this idea of maybe drawing shock blasts, and you finally did. And I don't know. I kind of want to talk about, because it's so fresh, what was kind of going through your mind and all of that, like karma, replaying and replaying.
I mean, at some point the plan was to get the guy low enough so when we get to the point where he has karma and coins, he has to think about me being able to kill him at least once or twice and shuffle as many bombs as possible because to get coins, the deck actually has to either recall something or draw. And if you're drawing, you might kill your shit at burst speed, which will be good for me. So I tried to do that in the earlier parts of the game. And then once we go to the part where he's enlightened, I'm just trying to not die. And at some point I realized he could never get a showstopper going because he was always finishing the game at finishing the turn at 10 mana and he couldn't get a good position. So I could just start going in even more aggressive because the bombs were also coming and it all piled up at the end. It was
Yeah,
just I just needed to balance not dying at some point. Because the deck is actually very powerful but limited, the karma set. It's not like they can do whatever they want, even if they get enlightened.
hmm I wanted to talk to you a little bit about how you came up with your lineup for today. It's obviously the start of a brand new expansion and something that we've never experienced in Legends of Runeterra before. Rotation. Uh, how did you settle on the decks that you did, and how did you settle on the 40 cards that you did for today's tournament? We barely had any time. This meta's not even settled outside of Fizz Samira. Nobody really knows what's good and what's not.
There was actually quite a bit of thought into this lineup, which is unusual for me. So I had a few ideas and I landed on this one. Main thing was I realized Samira was too good to not
Mhm.
play. Like you just feel it when you play, but I never liked the list that's running around right now with 3 Shelly, 3 Inferna, no 1 drops because I wanted to play the mirror. And in the mirror, the way you win if you don't have Samira is by being more aggressive, especially by abusing stylish shot.
Mhm.
So you need more units like the elegant plunder 1 drop. I don't remember her name, and the dashing dandy. That's the purpose of those cards. And on top of that, powder pandemonium is really good in the mirror if you're the aggressor, and it's really good into the PNZ decks trying to counter Samira. So that's also why I ran 3 powder pandemonium and 2 Shelly. I think Inferno is the most overrated card in the game. At least until they fix the Cutlass bug, I don't think the card deserves to be a 3 of. Like it very often forces you to play way slower than you want. Um, 2 mana Plunder draw card is good enough usually. I never struggle with fuel with the deck.
Yeah,
You
I've
just need
never
to learn when to not go aggressive with ends and just conserve.
I think a lot of
The rest
people
of the
think
decks were. Wait, a second. I wanted to bring scouts over KJs, but I was too slow to send the lineup because I was at the beach. Whatever. Jace actually makes no sense in this lineup other than the fact that he beats Samira. And Vayne Queen is just a good deck. That's it.
true. Yeah. I mean, I wish I was at the beach today. That sounds fun. B-Ball gets a beach day and then he gets to come home and slap up the entire tournament and relax and bask in the winner's interview. Feels good, man. Um,
I was just gonna say, like, how many times do you ever like think that much for a tournament and like win, and then you just say, oh, this Hyman Caitlyn deck's actually not good, and I was at the beach. So like, that question goes out the window. But yeah, no, really well played. I like you kind of talked about, being conservative as possible with like Samira Fizz. And do you think maybe that's why people don't pick up on like being as good as you are on the deck, or try and hit the skill ceiling of it, and they really try and be aggressive? Because like I feel like that deck does have powerful aspects to it, but it also feels like a lot of time it just falls short. So I'm wondering, is the answer just being conservative as possible?
No, definitely not. There's a lot of games where you just need to stylish shot spam and chip them down and be aggressive. Thing is, you should understand that from the context of your hand. On turn 2 and 3, you should know what you want to be doing until turn 6. Because even setting up Inferno, I see a lot of people that just play Inferno on 4, like it's nothing. Like that's a huge commitment.
mm,
The Inferno dictates how you play the game for the next 3 turns. That's why the card is not as good as you think it is, because for mana 1/5 is not that good. And then you're forced to save your plunders and play in a specific way. So that's one of the reasons I like my version, because I reserve the right to be more aggressive than I should be. You don't have to go full combo every time. You should play the deck a lot on ladder, not be afraid of making changes because the deck is not refined, and limit test a lot. I spammed a lot of games where I just played like a donkey to see how dumb you can play with the deck and see what gets you punished and what doesn't. Like I see a lot of sentiment running around that like, the deck doesn't win without Samira. Like the mirrors are playable without Samira, but you just need to play the deck and try to figure out the mirror. Change the deck a bit. Like come on, stop playing the Driss of list, for example. It's fine.
I gotta agree with you, people. I think a lot of people are just playing the deck a little bit too balls to the wall and not taking into context what their hand actually wants them to do. And I disagree. I don't think Inferno is overrated, but I do think people are misusing the card. I think it's very powerful and I think it's a fantastic card. I agree with you though that people are just too focused on playing it and like trying to do these huge plunder chains with the deck, and that's not. It's kind of what the deck wants to do, but not always. And like
Overrated
burning
in the sense
cards
that,
is really
people
bad.
think it's a core three of. Like it's not core three of, and it's not the like top 3 cards in the deck. It's good. It's not the goat.
Yeah, I agree.
Stylish shot is the goat.
Uh, uh-huh. Stylish shot is definitely the goat. But you're the goat. You're the winner of today's tournament. Any? Do you have any more questions for our guest today? I'm out.
Yeah, I don't really think I have much, so I might wrap it out. But honestly, Broken Ball, I don't really hear you speak much about this game as much as I used to, and it's really refreshing. I feel like your takes and your understanding of like what to do in specific matchups are actually they're insane. Like they are, I wouldn't say overwhelming, but it feels like there's so much of an expanse of like knowledge that you can kind of grab here, and a lot of people that don't really play for, and even small things like what you said about these flash bombs being very impactful in the later game, forking out that karma while them being very limited in a way to win, and then finding like that chip damage, and then even the Samira talk about being conservative. So all I want to say is like I want to hear you talk, man. Like I want you to be on a podcast, and I'm glad you won here because this was actually really insightful, and yeah, I'm glad you could show why you are the goat.
You already know. I'm down to talk more. You already know, give me
Okay,
a mic. I can do that.
yeah. Well, I guess we'll maybe try and figure something out. Who knows? Maybe Aegis podcast. Huh? Read question mark.
Eh,
Okay. But well, I think we'll wrap it up. Thanks, Community Gaming, for the sponsorship today, and this is Aegis Swiss for the second time here with Monte Cristo Broken Ball. We'll see you later for the team league. Have fun. We'll catch you all later.
bye.
Everything goes on. Like a bomb squad.